We're going to live together. You take the kids and get out. After giving birth, I was living at my parents' house. I went back to our house to pick up something I'd forgotten. When I opened the door to the bedroom with the closet, I found Ethan and a young woman snuggled up together. Ethan, what are you doing? It's obvious, isn't it? So, you were cheating after all. It's not cheating. I'm living here with Bella now. Bella, the woman next to Ethan, also laughed and added. Seeing them like this, I no longer had any desire to repair our relationship. Ethan's a high earner, unlike you. We're going to live a luxurious life on his earnings. Got it, though he only makes $1,000 a month. I was starting to forget the anger I felt towards Ethan for cheating during my pregnancy. I was too busy with childcare to dwell on it. But I'm not the kind of person to stay silent after being treated like this. The irony is that Ethan doesn't realize he was able to live because of me, and Bella believes Ethan is a high earner. This situation is full of things to point out. If they're that foolish, it makes things easier for me. I decided to thoroughly corner them, who are blind to reality. I am Madeline, 29 years old. I graduated from a fashion school and work in design. Ethan, 5 years younger than me, was still a student when we met. His part-time job was at a bar near my company, and we got acquainted because we often went there for company drinks. To me, Ethan was just another staff member. But he pursued me aggressively, leading to our relationship. At first, I was puzzled, wondering, why me? I'm 5 years older. But I was swayed by Ethan's words, age doesn't matter. You're attractive, Madeline, and decided to date him. Our relationship felt fresh. Ethan loves to have fun in large groups, probably influenced by his bar job. Ethan often threw parties and took me to various places. All of Ethan's friends were cheerful and sociable young people. I was worried about feeling out of place, but everyone welcomed me warmly. After dating for 2 years, Ethan became a working professional, and I turned 28, starting to think about marriage. However, since Ethan was still young, I shouldn't pressure him. I often hear that when women rush into marriage, it can cause the couple to break up. I was fretting over this when Ethan surprised me with a proposal. Of course, I was happy about the proposal, but I also had my doubts. It was my sister, Laura, who gave me the push I needed. Laura has always been smart and excels at her job. She's been a reliable person I could turn to for advice. You don't get chances like this often in life. Ethan is a bright and good guy. You should just go for it and get married. I couldn't imagine marrying anyone but Ethan. If I were to have children, I wanted it to be with him. You're earning well, so there's no need to worry about finances. Just be happy. With my sister's words, I married Ethan. But soon after our marriage, something unexpected happened. Ethan suddenly quit his job. I'd rather own my own place than work for someone else. I'll be working part-time at the bar I used to work at for a while, but I need your support. I was puzzled, but his resignation was already in process. I emphasized to Ethan that this was a temporary situation and decided to support our household for a while. Ethan was happy and seemed to be studying hard about opening his own place. I found his determination endearing and really wanted him to succeed. This marked the beginning of Ethan's part-time life, and almost a year had passed. I wouldn't know because I worked full-time, but Ethan apparently wasn't taking many shifts, focusing instead on studying for his business. He was saving all the money he earned for his startup fund and didn't contribute to our household expenses. However, my body began to show signs of change. When I went to the doctor, I was shocked to learn I was pregnant. I was in no condition to support us anymore. Ethan, I'm pregnant. The part-time life has to end. Can you start supporting our family now? I thought he would be happy about the pregnancy, but his reaction was completely different. Ethan threw the glass he was holding at me. It shattered with a loud noise, and the drink inside splashed everywhere. What the heck? You said you'd support me. Was that a lie? It wasn't a lie, but things have changed now. Shouldn't we support each other in tough times as a couple? Don't mess with me. You just want to relax and not work because you're pregnant, don't you? Ethan labeled me as a lazy woman and wouldn't listen. He seemed completely ignorant about maternity or paternity leave. He looked off into the distance, imagining his future prospects. I'm going to have my own place someday. I can't be bothered with such trivial matters. After spitting out those words, Ethan left the house and went somewhere. He didn't return until after 5 a.m. He reeked of alcohol, and his clothes were dirty in places. It looked like he had gone out drinking and partying again. You came back drunk? Can't you take our child's situation more seriously? He didn't reply, and for the next 3 days, Ethan didn't speak to me at all. His behavior was like that of a sulking child, and I was exasperated. Ethan wouldn't eat at home and often left at night. I handled all the household chores, and one night after he went out, I noticed a woman's perfume scent on his clothes while doing laundry. It was always the same scent. I couldn't believe it but suspected infidelity. However, with my growing belly, I couldn't move freely. When I consulted my sister, she offered to look into it, and I gratefully accepted her help. Hello, Madeline, is now a good time to talk? Ethan's out, so it's fine. My sister seemed surprised. He's out at this hour. Well, given the results of the investigation, it's not surprising. What about Ethan? It seemed she had tracked Ethan's activities on a particular day. Fortunately, he had been in busy areas, making it easy to follow him. According to her, Ethan had gone out at night, drinking and partying. Then, he separated from his friends and met a young woman, eventually entering a hotel with her. The place where Ethan was fooling around was near the bar where he worked part-time, a familiar area to me. I was infuriated that he was doing whatever he pleased. It was the worst-case scenario I had feared. I was stunned and speechless for a while. However, the photos my sister sent were undeniable proof of Ethan's infidelity. The next morning, when Ethan returned home looking disheveled, I confronted him about it. He still had the same perfume scent on him. Ethan, you're cheating, aren't you? Cheating? I'm not cheating. Ethan's eyes were evasive, his body fidgety. Stop lying. I'm not accusing you without evidence. Don't mess with me. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll hit you. Ethan grabbed his bag and left the house in his tired state. He might be going to his lover's place. When I went into labor a few days later, Ethan still hadn't returned home. I had no choice but to get ready alone and took a taxi to the hospital with my hospital bag. From then on, I had no time to think about Ethan. The baby was born safely, and I found myself lying in the hospital bed. I was grateful that my parents, who lived nearby, took turns staying with me. After giving birth, I was too busy with nursing and other things. During this hectic time, Ethan called. The baby's born? Both mother and child are healthy. That's not what I'm concerned about. You'll be staying at your parents' place for a while, right? How long? How long? Maybe 2 months. Why? I was puzzled, but Ethan said, "It's none of your business," and hung up abruptly. I stayed at my parents' house after giving birth. Ethan never came to see us. About a month after giving birth, as winter approached, I went back to our house to get a coat I had left in the closet. But when I opened the front door, I was struck by a strange sensation. The entire room smelled of that familiar perfume. It was unmistakably the same scent I had smelled on Ethan's clothes. The room was eerily quiet. I opened the bedroom door where the closet was. There, I found Ethan and a woman, closely entwined. The woman was young, almost looking like a student. Ethan, what are you doing? You can see what I'm doing. So you were cheating after all. It's not cheating. I'm living here with Bella now. The woman beside Ethan giggled and added her comments. That's right, we're living together now. You should take the child and leave. Seeing this, I no longer had any desire to mend our relationship. Ethan is a high earner, unlike you. We're going to live a luxurious life with his earnings. Understood, even though he barely earns anything. Bella seemed completely unaware of Ethan's actual income. However, she began to dreamily talk about their future life together, and it was clear we were not on the same page. Anyway, it seemed I was an unwanted presence for them. If that's what they wanted, so be it. I quickly grabbed my coat and was about to leave. Wait, take this with you. It's perfect timing. He handed me a divorce form. Filled out in every section except mine. I made a quick decision. I'll fill it out right here. I completed the divorce form on the spot and handed it back to Ethan. Here you go. Please send the rest of my belongings by courier later. Sure. Saves me the trouble. Bye. Don't come back. As I closed the bedroom door, I could hear their laughter from behind. I went back to my parents' house and told my sister about the divorce. When I mentioned Ethan being cozy with another woman in the bedroom, she seemed astounded. I actually found out something about Ethan's cheating. What is it? My sister recalled that during Ethan's drinking spree at the bar, he had mentioned a certain app. A matchmaking app that seemed a bit shady. I registered on it. Are you sure that's safe, sis? I'm single, and there's no harm in just registering. Plus, it's free for women. My sister did some research on the app and found out that Ethan was registered there. She showed me his profile on her smartphone. Ethan's profile picture was a design I had created for work. Curiously, he had listed his profession as a designer, seemingly using my career to appeal to women. He also greatly exaggerated his income. His profile is full of lies. Just listing things that would make women happy, probably looking for affairs. He was such a shallow man. I regretted not realizing this before our marriage. Just then, my phone buzzed. There was a message from Ethan. I've already submitted the divorce papers. We're strangers now. I also filed the marriage registration with Bella. You're useless to me now. Following the message, a selfie taken at the office, featuring Ethan and the woman, was sent. My sister frowned upon seeing it. What a terrible man. Madeline, you did the right thing by leaving him. Yeah, I think so. My heart ached thinking of my child, but following my sister's advice, I decided to quickly sort out my personal affairs. A month later, as I was preoccupied with childcare and had nearly forgotten about Ethan, a flood of calls came from him. Picking up, I heard his panicked voice. Hey! Weren't the rent and heating bills being deducted from your account? I've just been notified that this month's payment hasn't been deposited. You're supposed to be managing your own life now. I've changed the direct debit details for you. What have you done? All the payments are failing, and I'm getting collection notices one after the other. Indeed, Ethan's income wouldn't support the lifestyle we had before. But his financial troubles were no longer my concern. As we were now strangers, I responded calmly. However, Ethan still seemed to be counting on my earnings, even after our separation. He had no intention of giving up the nice condo we had rented with my income. Being stingy with money. You're trying to ruin me. I'm bringing Bella over to your place, so have the money ready. After the call, I asked my mother not to serve tea or anything when our guests arrived. Meanwhile, my phone kept ringing incessantly. It must be Ethan, how persistent. Checking my phone, I saw messages pouring in from mutual friends of Ethan and me. Madeline, what's this about cheating and running away with the house money? Don't be petty, just apologize to Ethan quickly. I trusted you, but to think you were that kind of person, that's just low. Apparently, Ethan had been spreading misinformation to our friends to suit his narrative. It was inexcusable, even in anger. I showed the messages to my sister, contemplating a response, when the doorbell rang. Ethan and Bella had arrived at my parents' house. Reluctantly, I led them to the living room, where Ethan sat down arrogantly, with Bella leaning against him. My sister and I braced ourselves for the discussion ahead. My sister and I faced Ethan and Bella, ready to have a serious discussion. "So, how are you going to make this right? Quite bold of you, considering your measly earnings." "Don't say that here." Bella's face changed color slightly. "Ethan, what does she mean?" I remained silent and showed the prepared pay slips of Ethan. I had been keeping these slips monthly for tax calculation purposes. "Is this really your monthly income? This is less than a part-timer's." Ethan barely took any shifts. He claimed he was studying to start his own business, but all I saw was him playing around. He would go out drinking at night and sleep till noon. Ethan started making excuses. "This was just a bad month. I'm going to own my place soon and you'll see. But with this, you can't even pay this month's rent. Weren't you a high-earning designer?" My sister showed Bella Ethan's profile on the app. "Is this what you're talking about?" "Yeah, we met on this app. All of this profile is a lie." "What? What do you mean?" Bella looked shocked. "But the design sketches." "Those are my work." I showed Bella my sketchbook. "I recognize these. And these too. Designer Madeline, that's you." "Yes." Ethan was pretending to be me to impress women. "You've been deceived." "That's despicable. Lying about your career. Don't make up things. You're just trying to manipulate Bella." Ethan was the one who had been manipulating her all along. It was astonishing how he continued with lies that were bound to be uncovered. Apparently, he had even pretended the condo was his. Bella believed him and moved in. Being married to Ethan is a blot in my life. "Bella, you're married to him now. Good luck with this loser." Bella, her face turning red with anger, slapped Ethan repeatedly. Ethan tried to fend off her slaps while desperately continuing his defense. "She's too naive, believes anything. Madeline, if you keep this up, I'll sue you for defamation." "Naive? Really? I've done some investigating. Near the place you two met, there's a nightclub. I went there again recently. And guess what? I saw you, Bella, entering the club." "What? You must be mistaken. When you filed your marriage registration, you sent a photo. You were wearing the same coat. I couldn't mistake such a flashy girl." But Ethan couldn't seem to give up. Bella's profile apparently stated she worked in an apparel store. The flashy style is because she works in apparel. Stop being jealous, you old woman. Old woman, huh? Well, the club Bella's been entering isn't exactly reputable. They trick customers into paying for expensive extras. My sister showed the information site of the club, which unmistakably had Bella's photo. "That's a lie." "Sure, Bella's often not home at night, but she said it's because work runs late." Why don't you think back on what you've been doing to Bella, Ethan? You've been lying as effortlessly as breathing, right? Now that I think of it, she does have a lot of luxury brands that you couldn't afford on your regular earnings. Suddenly, Bella shouted. It's all out now. Yes, I'm the #1 girl at that club, and I'm known as Princess. I've got lots of men showering me with gifts. I couldn't help but feel a headache coming on. Ethan and Bella, both so deluded. Bella, was everything you told me a lie? Likewise. If I knew you weren't a designer, I wouldn't have dated you. Liar. A little embellishment on my resume is nothing compared to what you've done. What you've done is a betrayal to men. Ethan, even now, wanted to claim he was not at fault. Suddenly, Ethan started hitting Bella. Their ridiculous exchange was unbearable, and I finally spoke up. Both of you are the same, a pair of liars. Just get along with each other. In the end, I was the only one not lying. Ethan looked at me with tearful eyes. Madeline, I was wrong. Can't we start over? You're married now, Ethan. That's an impossible request. But Ethan was persistent. I'll divorce her. You and I were always meant to be together. Such a convenient story. I won't divorce until I find my next target. I'm staying put. I'm divorcing you. I want a peaceful life with Madeline. Indifferently fiddling with my phone, I replied. Who was it that destroyed that peaceful life, I wonder? Ethan and Bella continued their unseemly argument. Ethan wanted a divorce, while Bella wanted to continue their current arrangement. After a while, as I set my phone on the table, Ethan's phone started ringing incessantly. He checked the messages and turned pale. What's this? All my friends are cutting ties with me? I had recorded the conversation and sent it to our mutual friends. Hearing the recording, they learned of Ethan's actions and unanimously turned against him. You're involving friends and lying, that's cowardly. Should I sue you for defamation? Ethan bit his lip and fell silent. Madeline, you did the right thing divorcing such a man. What should we do now? My sister seemed almost amused. I'll certainly be claiming alimony and child support. Wait, I don't have that kind of money. That's fine. I've considered involving a lawyer. At the mention of a lawyer, Ethan looked like he wanted to run. With solid evidence of infidelity, he likely knew he had no chance of winning. I handed Ethan a note with the bank details for the transfer. All you want is money. What a vile woman. I want alimony too. Falling for such a man was a complete loss. How much more are you going to mess up my life? Ethan, grabbing his bag's handle, started swinging it around. A vase on the table fell over, leaving the living room in a mess. My sister quickly took out her phone and made a call. Hello, police? I'm being threatened by a man. I'll give you the address. Hearing police, Ethan and Bella turned pale, quickly gathering their things and heading towards the door. I won't forgive you for this. Don't think this is over. What a case of sour grapes. Everything was his own doing. Don't ever show your faces here again, you despicable couple. I closed the door before Ethan and Bella could turn their backs. Wasn't calling the police a bit much, sis? My sister showed me her black phone screen, sticking her tongue out. Was it all an act? To silence those fools, this was enough. We high-fived, sharing a moment of triumph. After they left, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Friends were sending messages apologizing for their doubts. At least, the misunderstanding was cleared. They all decided to cut ties with Ethan. Ethan, having always been careless with money and frequently involved in petty borrowing and lending, had finally pushed his limits too far. His recent misconduct, coupled with his long-standing financial irresponsibility, seemed to be the last straw for many. Now, Ethan wouldn't be able to enjoy outings with friends anymore. As for me, my divorce was already finalized. I decided to proceed with claiming alimony, as it can be requested even after the divorce. Ethan was working hard at his part-time jobs. One day, I received a call from Ethan. Madeline, help me. Bella won't leave. She has nowhere else to go. No matter how much I beg, she just won't budge. So, you two didn't get a divorce. I want to divorce, but Bella seems to have no other place to go. She refuses to move no matter what. The irony was not lost on me. Ethan, who wouldn't work and left so quickly, was now facing the opposite situation. Weren't you two in love and got married? Try to make it work. I can't stand being with such a liar anymore. Bella is openly using dating apps right in front of me. She dresses up and goes out at night, and she doesn't contribute to the household financially. I couldn't help but suppress a laugh. Bella's actions were unexpected, but it seemed she was giving Ethan a hard time. Poor you. But I endured similar treatment from you, even through my pregnancy. Why don't you try a bit harder? Come on. Bella takes all the money I save. Please help me. Ethan's voice was whiny. I felt nothing but a visceral disgust for him. I firmly refused his plea for help and hung up. According to a mutual friend, Ethan was later fired from the bar. He couldn't resist flirting with a regular customer. The manager was furious, reminding Ethan of all the nurturing he had done, and threw him out without a word. With almost no employment history, Ethan struggled to find another job and eventually resorted to debt. Unable to borrow from reputable lenders, he fell into a cycle of borrowing from shady sources to pay off other debts. Meanwhile, Bella continued living in Ethan's house, going out to nightclubs and meeting men. Bella had nowhere to live originally and targeted Ethan, seemingly well off, leading to their marriage. She seems to rely on men for her lifestyle. She is now desperately looking for a man with better prospects. Despite Ethan's pleas, Bella refuses to leave, resulting in endless arguments. I mercilessly demanded from Ethan $60,000 in alimony for his infidelity, along with child support. So far, he has been making the payments on time. My sister's bluff and threats seem to have worked effectively. Ethan occasionally calls asking for help, but I ignore him completely. His troubles seem minor compared to the pain I endured. With the support of my parents and sister, I'm comfortably raising my child. My single sister adores the baby, who is growing up healthy and happy. The child was growing up healthily and happily. I cherish the ordinary moments of parenting, singing with my child, playing in the bath. These are precious and enjoyable times. Starting next month, I plan to place the child in daycare during the day and return to work on a reduced hours basis. I love my work. And am excited to return. My company is very understanding and accommodating of my situation as a single mother. I look forward to cherishing the things I love while embarking on a new journey in life.